Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Teague. I'm here with Karen Hunter and LaShannon Spencer, and we're going to talk to you about grounded theory. And LaShannon's going to start us off with the description of it.
Thank you so very much, Larry. And, I've really enjoyed learning grounded theory with the two of you as a group. And so just even learning and reading the articles that we shared that are actually posted on our last slide, just having the conversation of, is this a theory we're actually going to use in our research, whether it's for other papers or for our dissertation? So I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation that we've had pertaining to grounded theory. When you really look at grounded theory, it's the study of a concept. It's not a descriptive study or a descriptive problem. Most grounded theorists believe that they're theorizing about how the world is rather than how respondents may actually see it. And the description of grounded theory is the discovery of theory from data, systematically obtained and analyzed in social research. Grounded theory is a theory that is grounded or produced from the data collected and analyzed. Next slide, please, sir. You actually have two brilliant young, I would say young men, but men that developed the grounded theory in 1965, Glaser and Strauss. Both authors continue to publish material. Glaser publishes based on the classical grounded theory in 1987. And Strauss and Corbin redefined it, grounded theory, in 1990. And Glaser actually published a book in counter to what had been published in research earlier. But grounded theory, theory design is a systematic qualitative procedure used to generate a theory that explains a broad conceptual level, a process, basically an action or interaction about a substantive topic or issue that the research is looking to study. Grounded theory refers to the theory is developed inductively from just groups of data. Grounded theory is actually the most common, widely used theories in qualitative analysis. It's usually used just in the qualitative research when we are looking to gather information about a particular topic.
So now I'm going to discuss the types of grounded theory. The first type we have is the classical, which examines the data and discovers the new theories within that data. Our modified grounded theory model has three stages. It is open coding, group axle coding, and selective coding. Then our constructivist challenges the classical model and recognizes the biases that the classical model presents. The feminist recognizes the possibility of multiple interpretation of the reality. And then the postmodern emphasizes the mapping of the social world. So looking at our modified type of grounded theory and the way that you can kind of wrap your mind around that process. If you're thinking about it from a medical perspective, I know oftentimes doctors will ask you if you're experiencing any type of medical trauma to kind of rate your pain using a Likert scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 3 being the highest if you're experiencing some pain or discomfort. Particularly when you're looking at patients who are dealing with arthritis and arthritis stressors. The research has said that people who experience the higher pain indicators or record themselves of having higher pain sensitivity usually come from areas that are sensitive because of cold, because of weather. Their environments also oftentimes dictate the level of pain. So that's how you can kind of think about the modified type of grounded theory, how the environment or how the surroundings affect that data and how it can fluctuate just depending on the situation and the environment that that person finds themselves in. Next slide.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a procedure that someone might go through for a grounded theory project. So the researcher will have determined a research topic and generated an idea from that topic. The researcher will create structured questions centered around the idea. Um, then they'll develop conceptual description and conceptual theory. They'll develop theoretical sensitivity from immersion in the data. And then they'll make sure that the theory is grounded in the data that's collected there. Uh, they'll identify basic social processes. The researcher will be active in collecting all this data, and that personal relationship seems to be a crucial part of this theory's model. The data collected is structured to reveal a theory, and then coding is defined to help foster a microanalysis of the data word by word and then grouping the word together. And that coding can be done differently by whichever type of grounded theory you're doing, as Karen just mentioned on the previous slide. Usage of 3 coding types: identifying, naming, and categorizing, and describing the phenomenon are the most common of coding types there, but I'm not sure that that is necessarily an inclusive list for that.
Okay, so talking about some of the challenges of grounded theory can fail to recognize the impact of the researcher and the agency in the data collection and the data creation and analysis. Grounded theory methods can produce large amounts of data, which can be oftentimes difficult to manage and oftentimes difficult to interpret. And then grounded theory currently has no standards of rules for identifying categories. So in short, grounded theory one of some of the major challenges is that as a researcher, you are often challenged with having to absorb a tremendous amount of data, and then not only absorbing that data, but then understanding how to manage that, how to categorize that data. And there's no real rules of identifying who your subjects are. So those are some of the strong challenges that presents itself with grounded theory.
Okay, and so we're going to walk through an example, real life example, although it's not real life, it's fictional, but it's real life adjacent. It's going to center around human resources, which our study shows that human resource departments tend to use grounded theory quite a bit. So the organization may want to determine why employees are frustrated by their work, which of course is a common problem for many organizations and HR departments around the world. The employees can be interviewed with questions pertaining to their respective work, their feelings, their outlook, and any other variety of micro factors in their day. Once the interviews are complete, the HR department staff can gather the data, they can analyze it, code it, and attempt to uncover the root causes of the employee dissatisfaction. I personally would be shocked if they're getting paid enough, but it could be any number of things. Once the problem is identified, the company can come up with a solution, present it to necessary parties, and start implementing it. And that would be a great example of a walkthrough of how they don't know the answer to start with. So they formulate the question and the idea, they put it out to the participants, collect the data, then analyze it or code it, and then work on the solution and a theory from that. And that is our presentation on grounded theory. Of Karen or LaShannon, do y'all have any closing statements before we tell everybody bye?
No, this is just an interesting theory.
Okay, yeah, it's an interesting theory, and we enjoyed working on it together, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and we'll see you all in the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.